Yo, what's up everyone? Defied from Gamers Class here with another video, this time discussing neutral items. But not just any neutral items, no, today I'm just going to be talking about the best neutral items in each tier. Now neutral items have been around for over 6 months now, but I still don't think that we pay enough attention to them as we should. These items can give your hero some really powerful buffs, and careful distribution of the right items to the right heroes on your team can be amazing for giving you that slight advantage that could help win you the game. Anyway, let's dive right into the first tier of items, tier 1. Obviously, this is the lowest tier of item and is the first to drop in a match, but some of them are actually quite powerful.
If you like this kind of content, go to gamersguys.com. For just $10 a month, get your replays analyzed, watch masterclasses with pro players, join weekly coaching sessions, win prizes, and more with our Supreme Dota 2 membership.
I think the mango tree has to be up there as one of the best items, probably in any tier, as the effects can last as long as the tree is not destroyed. One of the best strategies is to plant the mango tree in the ground, just in front of your fountain for your team to pick up the mangoes it drops over time. This gives any intensive spellcaster hero many free mangoes for use when you need them the most. The next one that is great in the tier 1 category is the Iron Talon. I used to think that this one wasn't that good, but for a hero that wants to farm creeps, it is absolutely amazing. It gives you a small increase to armor and attack speed, which is good for fighting neutrals, but the active that allows you to remove half of a creep's health greatly increases your farming speed. Don't forget that this can also be used on ancient camps, so you can farm them earlier than you normally would. Finally, in tier 1, the Royal Jelly deserves a mention too. The permanent regeneration supplied from this item for 2 heroes on your team is super useful all throughout the game, but I find it especially good for core heroes who could use the mana regeneration to help them farm more quickly and purchase fewer clarities. If you find this, try not to be greedy and eat it up yourself, but consider the heroes that could use the regeneration the most and give it to them. Alright, moving over to tier 2 now, and for carry heroes, I think the Vampire Fangs are really good. Aside from the extra boost to your night vision, these ones give you lifesteal from not only your physical attacks, but also any spells you cast as well. A lot of core heroes opt for lifesteal, but some get it later in the game, and the Vampire Fangs can be a great intermediate item to help sustain you as you farm until you buy Satanic, for example. Next up, the Nether Shawl is actually amazing for any hero on your team that often gets focused, but also for heroes with strong nuke spells. This one gives 25% magic resistance, helping you to tank heaps more magic damage, but also grants 8% bonus spell damage, which is really quite a lot. If you've got a frontliner on your team that deals a lot of magic damage, they are the perfect hero for this item. Lastly, from tier 2 is the Clumsy Net. Again, another item I thought wasn't that great, but it is truly amazing for ganking type heroes and setting up a hero for another spell like Pudge's Hook or Mirana's Arrow. It will give the carrier some decent stats and mana regen, and can be cast to throw a net at your enemy and hold them in place. The only drawback is that it will also hold you in place, but if your team lacks initiation or catch, this item can really help bridge the gap before having a Blink Dagger or Rod of Atos on your team. Cool, so tier 3 now, and first up here is the Spider Legs. I really rate this item very high, as I see movement to be one of the most important and strongest mechanics in Dota, and the activatable from Spider Legs gives you free pathing for a few seconds. This is insanely useful for setting up ganks, escaping ganks, running down enemies, checking Roshan, or whatever else you can think of. These also boost your movement speed more than most upgraded boots, and can be handy if you need the movement speed too. Next we have the Orb of Destruction, which is amazing for your core heroes, especially if they are melee, and even more so if they already rely on some sort of armor reduction to increase the damage they deal. This one provides armor reduction slightly lower than a Desolator, but also combines the effect with a slow slightly lower than that of the Eye of Skadi, but is increased on melee heroes compared to ranged heroes. Heroes like Phantom Assassin, Slardar, or even Templar Assassin and Shadow Fiend love to get this item. There are lots of good items in tier 3, but as the last top item from this tier, I'm going to mention the Telescope. And the reason for this is that it benefits your whole team and not just the one person who has it equipped. The item provides a 1200 radius aura, which boosts the cast range and attack range of ranged heroes by 125. It also halves the cooldown of Scan, which can be super useful later in the game when you need to work out if the enemy is taking Roshan, or coming to gank you through your jungle, or otherwise just checking a part of the map for them. This is a really good item for your support hero to hold to benefit the whole team. Let's take a look now at the tier 4 items, and man, there are so many good items here. But I think the first one to mention is the Princess Knife, which increases your projectile speed, but also hexes the enemy when hit on a 12-second cooldown. This can be a real surprise for the enemy who might not expect the hex and could set them up to get chain stunned and killed off before they get their BKB off. I think that this one is good on support heroes as the hex is great, but it doesn't provide any other stats or damage that could be useful for your cause. The Flicker is another amazing tier 4 item which I think gets overlooked quite a bit actually. This one gives a pretty decent boost to your movement speed, which I love, but the active applies a basic dispel when cast, which is incredibly useful against many enemy debuffs in the late game. This will blink you in a random direction as well, which can sometimes put you in danger or help you escape, but it is on such a short cooldown that can really benefit you when you are constantly being silenced or slowed, and can get you out of sticky situations all of the time. Okay, the last one for tier 4 items is for the casters out there, and that is the Spell Prism. It gives a 20% cooldown reduction on all of your spells and also your items, which is pretty crazy if you already have low cooldown abilities or crowd control items that you use often. It will also give you a nice boost to all of your stats and some mana regen for all the extra casting you are going to be doing, so believe me, you'll need it. Finally, the top class of items, tier 5, which are basically game breaking items. Every single one of these items is pretty insane, but here are the top 3 to look out for. First of all, for any initiator, the Fallen Sky is the most insane item that you can get. Most of the time a Blink Dagger is used on the initiator hero, but the Fallen Sky extends the range of the blink and even combines it with a Meteor Hammer, stunning heroes on impact. Initiating from 1600 range is crazy, and the stun makes it even more useful as you can then chain stun the enemy until they're dead. What I like about this item is that it can even replace your Blink Dagger and give you space for another item if you're already 6 slotted, so it can be a very welcome pickup. I mentioned it before, but I rate movement in Dota. Now the Woodland Striders unlocks your movement speed and gives you a bonus 140 move speed, which is already pretty crazy, but it also gives you the ability to freely walk through trees just like Treant Protector. And if that wasn't enough, it has an activatable which creates a path of trees behind you for 3 seconds, which lasts for 15 seconds. This can help you escape or block enemies from entering your base or whatever else you can think of to use them for. The final insane tier 5 item is the Apex, which you'll usually want to give to one of your primary physical damage dealers. This one is very simple, but gives a crazy 75 additional stats to that hero's primary attribute. For all heroes, that is an extra 75 attack damage, but for strength heroes, that translates to a bunch of health regen and an extra 1500 health. For intelligence heroes, it will give you some decent mana regen and 900 mana to your mana pool. And finally, agility heroes will gain 12 armor and 75 attack speed, which is basically a free moon shard, a free plate mail, and a free sacred relic. Yeah, so neutral items can be pretty crazy, especially on the right heroes, so make sure to consider this when choosing which item to take from the stash. That's it for this video, and I really hope you've learnt something from it. Once again, I'm Defied from Gamers Class, and have a great day.